Hello and welcome back to Taking Knee with Mike and JD. I'm JD.
And I'm Mike.
And today we're going to be going over Week 9 of the 2022 NFL season. So it was a nice weekend for me because the Steelers didn't lose because they were on a bye. So, Monday morning at work wasn't, a total shit show waking up and being like, great, now I'm in a bad mood because the Steelers lost the day before. So it was pretty nice. I probably can't say the same for you, but
I wish I could. I wish I could say the same. I'm at the point now. Like I usually whenever the Packers have the bye, I hate it, and that goes for all of my teams and the different sports that I follow. You think my team's not playing, that kind of thing. But I would have loved the bye this weekend. It's one of those things you couldn't possibly, even with all the issues we've had this season, I could not possibly see a way we lose to the Lions. Just could not. I mean, obviously you could, seeing you picked them, but and because I'm pretty down on our prospects this season as it's unfolded, and I do always try to go, okay, when I'm doing picks or something, is this a homer pick? Am I just going, it's the Packers, they'll find a way?
Right.
But I thought the 30. The Lions are the 32nd ranked team. They are historically last. They're an historically bad defense. Someone put up a stat, but the distance between 31 and 32 was the same as the distance between 31 and 18 or some shit.
Jesus,
terrible. It's awful, and the offense was just rubbish. And I'm not even going to go to our season is done, and we've just got to work in that way. Ironically, last week I was mad we did nothing before the trade deadline. This week I am stoked. I couldn't be happier because there is no point. For instance, if we got to Chase Claypool, we're not doing anything. I mean, yes, Rodgers is working with not fantastic receivers, but he is missing wide open receivers. That can't be the reason. All receivers, even the best ones, drop the ball from time to time. There's barely even that many drops from these guys anymore. You're looking at the field is wide, the players are wide open, and he's not making the throws, and if he is, he's overthrown them.
It seems lackadaisical too. The couple of highlights I saw, especially that interception he threw at the 2-yard line, where he just sort of turned and just threw it to nobody, just threw it to the Lions player. It was really un-Aaron Rodgers like.
It was awful. I mean, the one that he threw it into the defense's player's helmet, and this wasn't for the first interception, and this wasn't the defender coming up and he's jumping to try to block it and it hits his helmet. The dude he's actually being held by our O-line, and he throws it into his helmet. The other one, I mean, to be honest, I think that play to Bakhtiari was fucking rubbish. But somehow it worked. I mean, I don't when we're in the situation with our offense, we shouldn't be doing trick plays, making, Bakhtiari eligible for one of the first times in his whole career, a guy that can barely stay on the field. But in any case, we did it, and he was wide open, and Rodgers throws it to Hutchinson, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly. And then, even at the end, when we're have the chance to, we have no right to win, but and that's the thing. I was talking to a couple of other fans that I'm in a small Facebook group about, where it said don't you miss the days where Rodgers gets the ball back with 2 minutes to go, and you can pretty much go, we've won. There is no way we will lose this. Whereas he got the ball back 2 minutes to go, I'm like, nah, we can't win, which is really frustrating. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. I've forgotten which team it was, but they gave us the ball back, needing a touchdown with 37 seconds to go, and their fans are celebrating, and pretty much everyone's like, yeah, okay, don't celebrate yet. That seems like such a distant memory. For mine, Rodgers is done, and the organisation needs to start moving on. It's time to put Love in. I noticed that,
why not?
Report came.
Why not?
Absolutely,
because
why not?
At this point, you give him playing time, and then Aaron Rodgers doesn't get hurt, and you trade him. You know, like we sort of went over last week. Aaron Rodgers is worth more to you as capital than as a player right now. So why
absolutely.
wouldn't you, just like the 49ers did with Trey Lance, put your young guy in now when you have your veteran, because then if things start to go tits up, you can go back to your veteran and you don't ruin the development of your young quarterback. And then this offseason, you flip Rodgers for whatever you can get for him.
Exactly right. And, you know, it's just like, I mean, it's not just like the bad throwing. Like, I mean, he's obviously in decline, and that's fine. And I'm not taking away anything from his legacy, and I'm not wanting to come across as like, you know, a spoilt fan and that. Like, I will always respect Rodgers for what he's done. I will always have the Super Bowl because of, like, I'll always
which Super
that,
Bowl
but...
is that? I don't remember them winning a Super Bowl. What Super Bowl?
Oh well,
you
should have a fairly clear memory of that. But you know, I'm not taking any of that away. But I mean, he is a divisive character. I think he has caused issues in the locker room in the past. But all that beside the point, he cannot make the throws, and on top of that, he is making like so much of the offense is him overcalling what LaFleur puts in. He gets so much of the RPOs, and you know, we have a star running back that we paid probably more than we should have. Like, I've always been in the camp of, you know, once they're past it doesn't matter how good they are, once they're off their rookie contract, it doesn't pay to
right.
Pay
You're
backs.
rolling the dice right then.
Yeah. We did that, and doing that, he needs to be the focus. You're paying a running back that much, and he's that good. He needs to be the focus. But there's just so many throws he's not making, and for whatever reason, you know, you look at. I was thinking about this morning. Like, you look at Peyton Manning, where, like, you know, towards the end, I mean, he had fully declined, but he had the sense and the humility, or whatever you want to call it, to go. To let the defense make the plays, let the running backs make the plays. Like, I mean, that's last Super Bowl they won. He barely threw the fucking ball.
Right.
And when he did, it was
he barely even played that year. He was hurt most of that year.
That's right.
It was just kind of a cherry on the top of his career to win that Super Bowl, because he was nothing his last season.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he did what needed to be done for the team, and they've got the Super Bowl.
Right.
Like that's what it comes down to. So whether it's ego or whatever, Rodgers can't put it in the pocket, but he can't seem to see if he lent on the running backs. No one's going to say, and we're winning. No one's going to say, Rodgers didn't throw much. They're going to say the Packers are winning. Like, that's what the story is. No one's going to go, but he only threw for X amount of times. Like, no one gives a shit. Play in the team structure. But anyway. I don't really want to rant about this anymore, but at this point, Love needs to play, because at the end of the day, Rodgers, I think this is his last year. We try to trade him, he retires or something. We need to know what Love is. We need to know, is there enough tools to work with there that he can be our quarterback for the next few years, or come the end of this season, are we needing to go to market, or are we needing to go back to the draft to get a quarterback? We need to know that now. There's no point letting Rodgers play out the year and then come round one next year, you know. And Love might be it. Like, there's every chance that he is a good enough quarterback. And
but you need to figure that
offense, out. In the offense, he doesn't need to be a star. We don't need another Rodgers. We don't need another, you know, put the team on your back. We need a quarterback that can make the throws that are schemed up and make the right calls when the right calls are. That's all Love needs to do, or whatever quarterback. But we need to know it now. There's no point getting to round one and going, that's he's not it, you know.
Right.
And then we've got another wasted season.
Yeah, you want to see, just like you said, you know. I agree. I think I would be shocked if Aaron Rodgers is a Green Bay Packer next year. Either he retires, or he's cut, or he's traded. Like, it would kind of surprise me if he is back playing. But, you know, you're exactly right. You want to see what you have in Jordan Love. At that point, I don't know who you would trade for, who you would sign for, but do you then need to look at because if you trade Aaron Rodgers, like, you know, say they finish 500 the rest of this year. So they're 3-6 now, so there's 9 more games. So let's say they finish, I don't know, 7-10, okay? Which probably lands them low teens, mid-teens, like as far as a draft pick. Well, you have C.J. Stroud and you have Bryce Young as the top quarterback prospects that everybody loves. So, excuse the I guess the pun. I don't know, but everybody loves. And if you have that pick, you probably aren't going to pick them because they're probably going to be gone. But if you trade Aaron Rodgers, say you get a first from him or something, you're able to package things to move up for your future. So, like I've said, it is a business at the end of the day. Aaron Rodgers has won a lot for the Packers. He did the thing when you draft a quarterback in the first round that you won. He won you a Super Bowl. Now, you would have wished he would have won you a couple more, had he not lost 4 straight NFC Championship games. But it at this point, to me, if Big Ben was still wanting to play this year, he wouldn't be on the Steelers regardless. The Steelers were ready, and the Steelers do have a bad habit of pushing their great players out and sort of fracturing that relationship a little bit. Where like Troy Polamalu, he still wanted to play, and they sort of forced him into retirement. I mean, Hines Ward was basically done, but like he still wanted to play. But they sort of fracture the relationship for a couple of years, and then they have to build it back up. When the Steelers make a decision on something, it's basically like, okay, Ben, we're done with you. You should probably retire, keep your legacy, all this stuff, and move on. That's kind of what needs to happen with Aaron Rodgers. And I still think he can be a good quarterback, but I think he needs to sort of change up. I think it's this sort of hubris for him that he is Aaron Rodgers, and like you said, has the ball back with 60 seconds, no timeouts, down a field goal, no problem. We're going to go 55 yards and get this field goal. But that's just not him right now, and because I think that I just don't think he's having a team mentality right now. I think it's like sort of, for lack of a better term, like some sort of glory that he's trying to go for. But he doesn't seem like the Aaron Rodgers, and he's making really bad choices right now, like on the field. So, we definitely agree. Put Love in, see what you got. If he doesn't, give him 3 starts. If he doesn't play well, then you put Rodgers back in, and you try to continue his development. You bring in another quarterback with him next year, have a QB competition next year. Because the issue is that the Packers have a pretty good defense. They've invested in their defense. And, it's their offense that's sort of starting to let them down this year. So you kind of need that spark plug. And like you said, you just paid a running back. Why are you not running the ball more? Which he's hurt now, but still...
and that's what I think. And to be honest, like Green Bay as an organization, probably their biggest issue, I think, is that in any sport that has a cap, probably any sport, you have windows, like they've never used their windows. Like you have windows where, like I feel like you're looking back, we've had windows where we've had Rodgers at his peak, we've had fantastic receivers. And
that was basically all the 2010s.
And our defensive has sucked. So by not going out with, and that was the missing piece. And we never go out and trade capital or anything like that. It's always is to draft and develop. So while we had that great offense, we never went out and got those pieces like a premier pass rusher, better help to stop the run to kind of make the complete thing and have a go at the Super Bowl. And I feel like unless they make this move soon on Rodgers and cop whatever blowback they're going to get, and just because at the end of the day, I mean, to me, that I feel like they're scared of if they move on Rodgers and because Love is not going to be great straight up. I can't think of many quarterbacks that come in great straight up. Rodgers didn't come in great straight up, but what it'll look like is they've moved on Rodgers. He'll be on all these talk shows, bitching and whinging about it, and Love's probably going to struggle at first, and so they're going to cop flack. But at the end of the day, that's why that's part of sports administration. And if you don't like it, don't work in there. But my point that I got diverted myself on there is that at the moment we have a great defense. They are playing really well. They're playing better than they should be expected because they're on the field so much. And I don't care how good your defense is. If you are required to be on the field that much because your offense is just doing fucking 3-and-out bullshit and not respecting it, but even in that, the Lions are a good offense, and they held them to a very winnable score. So we've got a great defense. we don't have good receivers and we had a good quarterback. So we wasted that window. So the new window now is that put in Love in, find out what's going on, find out if he's the future or if it's someone else. You've got this great defense. And so use the capital however you way. So if you have Love for a few games, you go, there's enough pieces here that by surrounding him with weapons, he's going to get the job done. Then use the draft, use whatever trade capital you have to go and get him good receivers and roll on. Mm-hmm. If you put him in and go, you know what, this guy's never going to be it, then you use your capital that you can get however way by trading Rodgers, by trading Love or whatever, to get a serviceable quarterback in there, get some weapons, go for it. But I don't want to see another few years of just wasting the window, because eventually this defense isn't going to be great. We're going to lose players. Players are going to get past their peak, and it just feels like a roundabout.
And it's the thing where, had the Packers won the game this week, they'd be sitting at 4-5 instead of 3-6. If you look at the standings in the NFC, being 3-6 is not good, because there's all these other teams that are about 500 or more. There's only 7 playoff spots. So they would have been right in the mix had they won and been 4-5. The season is not over. And obviously it's still not over, but to be 3-6 and to be far behind, all the division leaders, all the other second place teams, other third place teams in other divisions, they're just too far down to, I think, try and not say. Obviously, in the press, you always hear this. We're not throwing in the towel. The season's not over till we're eliminated. All that good stuff that you say for PR and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you look at the standings, it's a very, very hard uphill battle. So,
as a fan, I'm now looking at any potential win from here as a disaster. Like, any potential win to here, it does not get us closer to the playoffs. It does not get us closer to the Super Bowl. It gets us further away from a high draft pick.
Right, further down in the draft. And that's kind of how I feel as a Steeler fan. And people have said, like, well, if you want them to win, that typically means that Kenny Pickett is playing bad, or like Minkah Fitzpatrick's playing bad. And I don't think that would be a detriment on, like, say, Kenny Pickett. Obviously, he's still a rookie, but I would much rather, and he's it's. I think Kenny's had a bad situation to come into, where the Steelers don't ever want to say they're rebuilding. So it's like, we want to move on from Ben to the next QB, but we're always going to start winning. I think the Steelers do. I think they, it sucks. Like, it sucks to watch the games for the rest of the year and see them lose. But if that means a 5th overall pick where we draft a lineman, and then, the 36th overall pick that we draft another high-end guy, we just traded Chase Claypool to the Bears, which I said the other week was the Ravens' second-round pick that they got, which I thought would be lower in the round. It's not. It is Chicago's second-round pick. So the Steelers could potentially have 3 top 40 picks, which is huge.
Wow.
And if they don't succeed a lot the rest of this year, that first-round pick is well up in the first round. So they've added assets. Now I think the main key is developing the rookies that you've just brought in, because you don't have TJ Watt. You are missing pieces this year. You don't have a very good O-line. But I am. It's funny to say, but I am excited about the future because of sort of some of the stuff we've done. I just want them to use those assets productively. So it made me feel a lot better about the Chase Claypool trade that we got Chicago's second-round pick. Because, like I said, that could be, the 40th overall pick instead of the 62nd overall pick if it was the Ravens pick in the second round. So
yeah, absolutely.
So other than that, I know that the Packers picked up, they claimed Jonathan Abrams, the Raiders' former first-round pick. So the Packers claimed him, I guess, as like a depth guy to come in. So that's I'm sure you're very happy about that.
Stoked. I tried not to bring that up because I thought I'm going to get too excited.
Right.
Just.
Other than that, I guess Indianapolis fired their coach. They hired Jeff Saturday, which was a very surprising coaching hire.
Yeah.
It's like obviously. Jeff Saturday from, his days with Indianapolis, playing with Peyton Manning. And he did play in Green Bay, right?
He sure did.
later. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's he kind of is a famous lineman from that era. Like you always remembered Jeff Saturday. So
Yep.
it is funny to see that he's getting a chance because he was just a player. I think he was coaching high school football at the when he got hired. I guess Jim Irsay just called him up and was like, "Hey, you want to coach the rest of the year?" Because he is the interim head coach. He's not the actual head coach yet. Like he doesn't.
No, and I think we're reading between the lines. It's just he's.
Can you
he's
fill
just,
in for 2 months, basically?
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yep.
if he succeeds, maybe they, it all depends, But it was just a surprising name to see earlier this week to be like, wow, Jeff Saturday's the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. Wow.
Yep. It was I was the same. I was a bit surprised, but yeah, no. I mean, as an ex Packer, I hope he goes well.
Yeah. All right, so that was mainly Mike's thought of Week 9, but not a great Week 9, but hopefully, maybe Week 10's better. Maybe it won't be as not hoping for a loss, but maybe the loss won't be as bad. That's kind of what we're hoping for the rest of the year is like not a bad loss.
Exactly.
Well, thanks for checking this out, guys. As always, if you haven't, please consider subscribing, commenting, and liking on this video. But I appreciate you guys checking it out, and you have a nice day.
See you guys.